What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and it's Everton against Forest at Goodison Park. It's good to be back at Goodison. I won't be. I'm not rubbing it in. I'm still in Egypt. As you can see, I don't particularly tan, so it's not, there you go. There's the tan line. So yeah, it's lovely, but yeah, back to the nitty gritty almost, talking about football. And if you'd have said to me that 4 weeks ago Everton would be in a position where they're playing the team that I think is third in the league, I would have gone, well, yeah, it's Chelsea or it's Arsenal or Man City, but it's actually Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are having a hell of a season, and credit to them. And they're going up against an Everton side which is confident defensively. I still don't think we're confident going forward, and I think I'm just going to say this: Jack Harrison has epitomised that. You in the comments can make whatever comments you want, but yeah. But Everton have had opportunities in the last two games against Chelsea, against Manchester City, to actually win the game. Towards the end, the Man City one really hurt because we didn't even get a shot on target 4v2. So I think from an attacking perspective, we do have this reluctance and this scaredness to take that step forward, which players like Njai don't have. I don't think Lindstrom has it as well. Brozier doesn't have it. So it really does depend on the player that it falls to in the final third as to what outcome you may get. And unfortunately, in my opinion, they've been falling to the wrong people. Takore doesn't pull the ball back against Arsenal, I think it was, and instead just lashes at it. No concentration, no calmness. Jack Harrison, he cuts inside rather than just passing, because he's greedy and he just likes to get a shot off or crosses the ball out of play. Yeah. So I think this game has to be different because Nottingham Forest are a good side. They're playing really good football. They're playing well. Nuno has got them playing some sort of hybrid brand of quite at times defensive but quite explosive. So, players like Aina are causing problems. They've already got players like Murillo, which really help with things like carrying the ball forward, really strong defensively. Maybe has a bit of a rick in him, but apart from that, he's a good player as well. So, they've got players there. Chris Wood hasn't scored now for a few games. I think it's 3 or 4 games. Chris Wood hasn't scored. Morgan Gibbs-White is starting to look like the Morgan Gibbs-White of old a little bit. They've got depth. They've got players. So Forest are a good side. Are they where they should be? Probably not. And I know that my friends at Forest Fan TV, very honest, very open, and so look, it's a great ride. They're on a great ride. They're loving the crest of the wave, but it may well come crumbling down. And without sounding horrible, I really hope that's at Goodison Park because the one thing that Everton have done over the last 3 weeks has been solid, but we haven't scored, and we need to score more goals. 1 in 3 isn't great. Yes, again, we played, 3 really good teams. Man City, albeit they're on poor one. Chelsea and Arsenal, but we're not scoring enough. We're not attacking these teams enough, and that's what I think we're going to have to do against Forest. We're going to have to be defensively disciplined, but play a bit more forward thinking. I made the comment about taking Calvert-Lewin off in the match reaction, and that's something that I wouldn't do in this game. I'd keep Calvert-Lewin on the pitch. I'm not saying he's doing great. I'm not saying he looks like he's going to score goals, because he doesn't, if I'm being honest. But I can't actually doubt the fact that when he picks up the ball, he's running. He's getting down the left-hand side, he's getting down the right-hand side, he's stretching the defence a little bit, and I just don't think Beto does it as well. I don't think Beto can control the ball as well. Every time Beto controls a ball, I expect the second touch to be a tackle. I don't get that with Calvert-Lewin. I do feel much more assured when it goes into him. But the other thing that I think Dyche, and I'm not going to criticise Dyche because I think he's done well over the last 3 games. We all know I want him sacked. If Dyche was sacked tomorrow, I have no issue with that. because I can't forgive the fact we're still only on 3 wins in 17. We've played almost everyone in the league, and 3 wins, in my opinion, isn't good enough, especially with teams against Bournemouth at home. And you know, we were up 2-0 in that game, 2-0 against Villa. If we were this disciplined now, defensively, then we would have got another 6 points. And then I'm maybe not having this discussion about Dyche, etc. But we are. So, yeah, for me, I have no issue if he goes, but I've got to give him credit for what he's done. And I always will see a manager on face value game by game, because they make mistakes. We all do. You know, no day is the same in anyone's life. Big thing for me in this game is he's going to have to change it up. You know, he is playing one of the teams that are sort of full of confidence, 4 wins on the bounce, absolutely flying all season. I think it's 3 defeats or maybe 4 defeats all season for Forest. They're a team that has got a bit of everything, you know, bit of grit, bit of power, bit of fight, bit of pace. Decent keeper. They've got a bit of everything, and that's what Everton are just going to have to counter. We're going to have to bring our best to Goodison Park, and we're going to have to win the game, in my opinion. And to win gives us that little bit of a confidence boost, you know. Although we've got 3 results in a row, there's still only 3 points separating us from 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And we don't want to be dragged into that when we've done so well to go away to Arsenal and away to Manchester City and not lose those games. Those points could be valuable at the end of the season, but you piss them up a wall. Well, you piss them up a wall when you end up playing teams like Bournemouth at home and lose, and that's what's a disgrace. So for me personally, I'm not about that. What I want is to see that Everton just continue to press, attack forward. What are you saying?
Do you want a drink?
Yes, please.
Coke.
Yes, please. There you go. So waiters on tap as well. You want to say hello to everyone?
Hello.
There you go. So who's there looking at me going like that? I was thinking. So I just want us to... Oh, he's left the door open now as well, honestly. I'm sorry, everyone. This is the worst match preview ever. Yeah, there's a little picture of the pool. Yeah, so realistically, this is a game that I think Everton could do with getting 3 points in. Just to shore up the shop a little bit, get them points and keep us pushing up the table. We all know we're not going to be finishing top 10. And I don't expect to. I just think it's going to be interesting with this game going into a sort of run of games where Everton can almost be expected to pick up more points. See what they do, because they can't play the same way that we play against Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea. They can't do that, and this is where Dyche comes unstuck. Dyche tends to get it right against the bigger teams. He messes it up against Spurs, and he's messed it up against Villa. He does tend to do that, and he did it last season with both teams. But he doesn't tend to get it very wrong playing Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and even, I'd argue, even Man United, but then we lost 3-0 to them at Goodison and 4-0 to them this season. But these are the games that you've got to be compact and be quick on the break. So I'll give you my team. It's Pickford in goal. Coleman keeps his place. I thought Seamus Coleman was outstanding. I thought he was outstanding and rolled back the ears a little bit, you know, cutting inside, lovely little inside passes. I was really, really happy with Coleman's performance. I really was. Will you shut the door after thing, please? Thank you. The other thing that I think is really important about playing Coleman is he's naturally a right back. And I know it sounds silly, but Ashley Young was a left winger for the majority of his career. Then only at Man United did he get pushed back to left back. And he's definitely not really a right back. He's played really well. I'm not slagging him off. But I just think Coleman looked good. He had that little knock, but it seems to be precautionary. For me, he did enough to keep his place. And that's what we should be doing with a 36 and 39-year-old. You should be rotating them. So for me, Coleman starts this game. Branthwaite, Tarkowski and Mikalenko. Mikalenko's so difficult because he seems to be just a great kid. and sometimes defensively he's looked brilliant. And at the start of the season and last season, he looked all right. But I must say, after about 3 or 4 games on, he looks ropey. And to be fair, even in those 3 or 4 games at the start of the season, it was him that got caught with a Bournemouth header. Yes, the defending on the right hand side wasn't great, but he was the one that could have got them headers and he didn't. I think it was his fault for 2 of the goals against Villa. Certainly didn't get close enough on one of them. So, yeah, for me, I either need to see more or see the progression. And it could be that Ashley Young goes to the left-hand side. I'm not really bothered. I have no issue with starting Coleman and Ashley Young. I have no issue with starting Coleman and Ashley Young right and left back. No issue. Midfield remain the same. Can't quite believe I'm continuing to say it, but Ariel Mangala is an absolute fantastic footballer. And again, he was at Forest. I was told about him several times, how good he is, how brilliant he is. And I think he was bought for something like 30 million, 40 million. And Everton have got the option to potentially bring him in on permanent. And that I think would be marvellous business. And I think we should do it sooner rather than later. I've been really, really impressed with him. He keeps the ball well. He passes the ball forward. He's never scared of putting a tackle in. Really, really like him. I really, really, really like him. And I think he's complemented by Garner really well. I think Garner's been great playing alongside him. They read each other's game really well. And they're building up a relationship, which I think is really positive. I'm starting to Corey again for legs in that transition. Ideally, I wouldn't. But the reason, unless you're going to play with a player like Njai as the 10, which I don't think he will. McNeil's not back and he won't start Brozier yet. That's where I think that we could do with a ball carrier. So I think he keeps Decore in. But for me, I would change it. And my front 3-4 would be Brozier on the left, Njai in the middle, Lindstrom on the right, and Calvert-Lewin up front. That would be my team. I just know Sean Dyche doesn't go with it. He goes with Jack Harrison, Decore, Njai, and Calvert-Lewin. That's what he does. This is where we're not aggressive enough going forward. There's 6 decent defensive players there in my team who should be able to do a job, on top of Brozier getting back and supporting. Lindstrom will get back on the right-hand side and supporting, and Jai can then carry the ball on the transition, and equally will put a tackle in, by the way, and Calvert-Lewin will push from the front. For me, I just think that's a more balanced team, more dynamic, more quick, more pacey. The 3 in midfield have got the pace to carry the ball. That's my team, but Dyche won't go with that. Score prediction. I hate to say this, but I'm going to go 1-1. I'd like to win this game, obviously. I just think Forest are playing so well, and I think Dyche just doesn't have the. I just don't think Dyche has got the capability of knowing how to manage these type of games for Everton. I think he really, really struggles with games there. You can get a result, and he seems to really struggle with them. So, yeah, I'm not confident. But yeah, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you go over to back4.com. It's after Christmas now, but treat yourselves to a hoodie, jackets, whatever. Go and treat yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Match reaction obviously will be after. Don't know whether it'll be me and John. It'll probably be me. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Sorry for no debrief. John just told me that he was absolutely stacked, so he's been struggling at home. So not for any reason. He's just struggling with time. He's been really busy. So yeah, make sure you keep following. Make sure you keep supporting. This video is going to take about 5 hours to upload, so God knows what time it's out. But I will see you soon. Up the toffees. Peace.